Vermont leaders are working on getting emergency shelters ready for potentially dozens of homeless families. The state has picked locations in Williston and Waterbury and are hoping to add sites in Montpelier and Rutland, too. It's all as a result of the General Assistance Motel housing program still being downscaled. ABC 22's Matt Holderman tonight live outside the Williston shelter with more information and why it might actually take a while to actually get some of these locations open. Matt?
Yeah, Lauren, that's right. Well, the building behind me here, as you mentioned, is the old Vermont State Police Barracks here in Williston. There were actually some workers on site here today removing old furniture and office spaces from inside the building, getting it ready to turn it into that shelter. But a challenge the state is still working on is getting people in place to run the shelter once they hope to open it by November 1st.
We're going to get creative and figure this out and do our best to open these up.
After approving an 80-day cap that pushed more than 1,000 unhoused people out of their hotel and motel rooms the last few months, Governor Phil Scott and other state leaders are now looking for ways to make their new temporary solution work.
Creating additional shelter space is really challenging. You need an acceptable building, you need a supportive community, and you need a trusted provider.
The state's checked at least one of those three boxes, offering up buildings in Williston and Waterbury. But the big obstacle that may prevent them from opening, they still need providers willing to run them.
Well, that's been a bit of a challenge as well. We thought we had some interest in Chittenden County. Right now, there's no one who is committed to that.
Although there is confidence they will be able to find people to run the Williston and Waterbury shelters by their desired opening date of November 1st, Governor Scott says that still won't help the city he thinks needs it most.
I think the biggest need is in Rutland. The diocese wants to make sure that we have a provider there. The provider that we thought was originally interested has backed out.
As the state works to address those issues, criticism continues coming in from homeless advocates like Brenda Siegel with End Homelessness Vermont. Siegel argues the state could still be doing more and could be showing some more compassion for unhoused people who have disabilities. She wrote in a statement, quote, "Our state has no authority to remove access to reasonable accommodations for people living with disabilities. What we are asking for is reasonable accommodations to be made for people who need them, and that can start today." And at his news conference yesterday, Governor Scott said disability is characterized in different ways, and he does want to meet the needs of people, or unhoused people, I should say, who are truly disabled. But he said his #1 priority is providing shelter for children who need it. Now, it's estimated that about 300 children over the course of the last month or so had to leave the GA housing program once those extra restrictions were put into place. And it's not exactly clear how many of them have found other temporary shelters or how many of them are still out on the streets. But these shelters should be able to house about 21 of those children, according to information from the state. It's also worth noting the GA housing program actually will expand once again once we get into the winter months. It will be open with no limits on hotel and motel rooms from December 1st to April 1st. For now, reporting live in Williston, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.